we can do that.
Okay, then
So we'll call this meeting to order.
Yep.
Can we do a roll call?
Yes, Tim Watkins, are you present?
Yes.
Linda Humphrey.
Yes.
Cindy Marshall.
Yes.
Jack Cardwell.
Yes.
Vance Spearman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, all of your members are present.
Okay. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes from the meeting from February 10th?
Yes.
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 Okay. And do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, I don't think that leaves any room for disapproval, so we'll move on to the next thing. The Prop P report. Has everybody had an opportunity to review this? Any questions, comments, concerns?
If I had, in looking at it, I was looking, right now, are we looking at about 258,300 and something left to go to July?
In all honesty, we will probably make it, we may be really close in this fund. And if so, we'll be able to easily go ahead and, I mean, some of the same people, there is the other fund, the 4705, which is the recreational health fund and levy. So any expenses that we need to roll over or move is easy as an account ledger change. It's not a big deal. So we probably will be right on budget, it looks like, if not really close.
Okay. Because it looked like when we first started, July to the end of August, we had quite a bit, and then we don't have that much to get us to July, so that sounds good.
We did have, there were health insurance increases and a few other increases that came on the personnel side that are reflected in this budget that you're now starting to see.
Okay.
So what determines if the money comes out of what'd you say, the 4705 fund account, and what comes out of the Prop P money fund?
So 4710, I have primarily all of my shelter staff being paid out of that fund directly. It covers the majority, in all honesty, that just paying the staff itself eats up that 750,000. There's no room really to have any extra leeway. Some of the other things, a lot of the other operating expenses and other staff, whether it's includes the majority of management and animal control, comes out of the Recreation Health Fund and that levy, which also includes our revenues that we receive for running the shelter. So those surrender fees, the adoption fees, the retail sales, all of that goes to that fund. And that's just to make sure that that Prop P fund remains easy to look at and easy to audit and prepare these reports. So it's clear what's being charged to it and exactly what the revenue source is.
Why did we have a special meeting today?
Because the council requests that semi-annually the group gives a report on Prop P. And sorry, radio's going off. And they requested that they get a copy of this Prop P report for the first April council session. So we are getting it done so that they can have a copy of this report for April. It's just that our meetings do not line up very well with the timeline that they have for getting the reports. So there was a special meeting to do it.
Okay, I just wondered.
So the utilities, what account does it usually come out of? Because your utilities are practically nothing.
The utilities are split. So there are utility charges on the other side too, on 4705, I believe.
In the original agreement for running the shelter, was Jackson County not going to take care of the utilities?
Yes, our agreement with Jackson County is that we take care of utilities.
That you take care of it?
Correct, that the city will take care of utilities.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, Christina, you know, I sit here and hear 750,000 from Prop P going for salaries. Can you tell me about how many people that, I mean, when I'm just a layperson, it seems like, wow, that's, you know, a big chunk out of the shelter, but that takes in animal control and...
No, animal control is paid out of Recreation Health Fund, which is the 4705, so a totally separate fund. This pays for the majority of the shelter side staff. So everyone from the animal care technicians to the vet, to our vet techs, our behaviorists, our, you know, admissions and adoptions people, all of those come out of this.
Okay. And the veterinarian?
Yeah. So that ends up being right around, I believe it's 15 individuals. I would have to go back and double check the exact number of full-time equivalent, but it's right around 15 are coming out of this side.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any other?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Does that mean that the 750 is going to pay 15 employees at an average of 50,000, and that's all it's paying that we're getting?
Well, if you look at this use tax shelter fund sheet, do you have that?
I do. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes, but the lion's share, of course, is always going to go to salaries in situations like this. But then again, it's also benefits and overtime and, you know, other miscellaneous things that have to do with payroll, you know, such as FICA and, you know, the loggers.
At some point, Mr. Chairman, could we, I don't care if it's today or 9 months, could we get just a little summary of the employees, what their pay is, what their job is, basically? I mean, just something at a meeting, one of our quarterly meetings, maybe?
I'm quite sure that something like that could be arranged. That's something I'm sure Christina would be able to pull up for us and present to us in a regular meeting.
Sure. But with COVID, we just don't have the, I won't use the word oversight. We just don't have the input, and we're all not together as much, and I just want to see that at some point if we could.
Sure.
Maybe we'll be able to meet the next time if everyone's had their shots. I don't know. It seems like they're opening it up now, so, or at least pretty soon coming up.
And
sometime.
That is the fifth thing on our agenda is to discuss. So when we get done with this part, we need to have a brief discussion on future meetings. But I'll set that aside until we get to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think if we could get together and we could really go over this stuff and get a better handle on it, but there again, it's a bit challenging right now, and just doing what we can. So, are there any other questions on this? On the information we have in front of us, at least. Okay.
Anything that we should know that we don't know? That seems strange.
That's a hard question to answer, Linda.
Right.
I mean, the easy answer, to kind of answer Jack's question too, hold on. Need to mute my radio in a second. But, the majority of our staff are paid for right around $15 to $16 an hour, a lot for the animal care techs. They come in right around $16. The behaviorist is, I would have to go and check, but I can give you the range.
Right.
Our techs start out right around $16 also. So I mean, when you figure it out, it's right around between $35,000 to $40,000 a year for the majority of the staff members that are full-time. Then when you add in the benefits, that's
right.
bringing you up to about $50,000 on average a year. For some of them, those benefits are a lot more. Some of them benefits are a lot less. It all depends on their insurance and what they have, set aside. So.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not questioning anything. We volunteered to serve on the help the shelter and help everybody take care of the animals. Let's be frank. And we thought there might be a little more money going in this, the split. Some of us when the election was held. So we just like to know what's going on. If we care enough to serve, we want to kind of know what's going on with that money. That's all.
Understood, and I'm pretty sure I can probably run some sort of report for the next meeting that'll kind of break it down.
I respect. We all respect the work you all are doing. There's no discussion about that. I just thought this money could be, we hope there'd be more money and be able to distribute it in a lot of different ways. I did, quite frankly, but I'm happy with the way things are. So I'm done.
When speaking of taking care of the animals and whatnot, is there any plan to start taking in more animals?
When I was talking to Jennifer today, I mean, we're taking in dogs as they come in, and I think we maybe have a few cats that are on the wait list, but that's because they just got added to the wait list. Otherwise, I mean, we are scheduling them to come in as they come in.
I mean, you're sitting there with a shelter that's 50-60% empty. And I just don't understand why, 2 years ago that shelter was full or over full.
Well,
and now
part of that
practically empty.
Part of that answer is change, the same sort of change that Kansas City Pet Project has done and others have done, where they're trying to get animals reunited out in the field, not just bringing in animals to bring them in and hold them. A lot of people don't recover their animals if they have to come in and possibly get a ticket or have to pay a fee in order to recover the animal. We are trying our best to do what we can. And I'm sure you've seen some postings where we have finders come in. They go ahead and do the found pet report, and then we try to find that owner out in the field, get that dog home, get that cat home, rather than bring that animal in. It's better for the animal, not only health-wise, they're not being subjected to different diseases.
That people say they can't hold on to the animal. As a
Well,
matter of fact, it's on your website right now. The finder gave to a friend of his. And the owner finally got the dog back, but it's still on your website.
Well, and we try to follow up with all the finders, but I can't promise that every finder follows up with us.
But to play devil's advocate, if the finder doesn't return your phone call, how's the owner going to get the dog back?
And I understand that, but it's the same thing for people who find the animal and never bring it to the shelter.
But people are
it's the
taking
same-
animals to the shelter and you don't take them.
We offer to take them. We also talk to them about how they can help get the animal home and avoid those fees, avoid that trouble for the owner. A lot of these cases, these animals are not far from their home, and we want them to get home.
Since we're varying from with the prop tax, could I ask a couple of questions that has nothing to do with that? Christina?
I have no problem with that. I don't know if the chair does. I have no problem. What's your question again?
I'm curious. I had received an email recently that you're getting volunteers back in the shelter. How are they responding to that?
Some volunteers are responding well. Some volunteers maybe not as well. We're still working on it, and we're trying to. I know Tanya, our volunteer coordinator, is trying to work with as many volunteers as we can to find the right fit and find the right way to get everyone back.
Okay.
So we're working on that timeline. We're working on that plan.
Okay, thank you. The other question, which I could probably email the vet, but I'm looking for the April schedule for TNR.
I'd have to reach out to the vet clinic. I haven't talked to them recently about what that April schedule is. I think they plan on not having anything different at this time. I know that they do have possibly some openings that should be coming up. So yeah, we can get you with the vet clinic and get those figured out.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, we love TNR, so you know us.
Appreciate the help.
Christina, this is Jack, annoying Jack, I'm sorry. Is there going to be much of a change when the health department comes back online? Will you be going there, or will that affect your department at all?
Well, it does affect, but I've been acting health director for a couple of years now, and many know that my primary focus for the last year has been the pandemic. So I've been doing that. Right now, the plan is that I will continue being acting health director and oversee this transition in. We've already started hiring and finding locations for the health department and all of their staff. It's an ongoing project. It does take time, but I do my best to make sure Animal Services is here. It looks like we're going to possibly be having Animal Services and Health Department together going forward. So
okay, just a question. I wasn't, no critique or anything. Just kind of wondering, because I knew you were active in both areas, and I just didn't, just was wondering.
Not a problem. It was Animal Services used to be part of Health Department, so those staff know how it goes and they know the ins and outs. We're working to find new staff. It's a big process. I'm not going to lie. That with all of the COVID vaccinations and clinics and everything else, there's a lot going on in the health world right now.
Hey, Christina, Prop P money won't be slipping over there, will it?
No.
Good.
No. Prop P money is designated by ordinance to do shelter operations, I believe is the exact phrase. It's in your packet, and that is where it will remain.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay.
instead of just having, I'm interested in that Prop P money, needless to say, and instead of having it mainly on the salaries, is there going to be a way that we can increase it from 750,000 to do and have more money that we can do things in the shelter?
So the ordinance that was passed says that it increases annually by the consumer price index. This next year, that'll add on right around $10,000. Sorry, there's a loud dog here. But otherwise, to increase it more than just by the consumer price index would require an ordinance change. It would have to go back to the voters. This is not something that can just be changed by the council.
Well, I think majority, well, I won't go into that. But
Okay, anything else on the Prop P report? I'm not hearing anything. I guess we'll move to future meetings.
I guess
Okay.
before we move on, are we okay with the Prop P report? Do you guys want any changes? Or can we approve it as is to go forward to the council?
I guess I wonder how do we approve something that we've not seen any backup as to what makes up the numbers? I guess this is the auditor coming out in me to just blindly approve what's been given to me. I mean, we've not seen any backup on any of these numbers, so how can I bless something that I've not seen the backup on?
And all I can say is I have it broken down by fund type, which is what would go to the council. If you guys want it broken down more than that, I can do that for a future one. But you'll have to tell me exactly how you want it broken down. I won't necessarily be able to break down and tell you, which staff member is getting health insurance at a higher rate than another one. It'll all still be grouped together this way. I can't necessarily.
Well, I guess I'm looking at it like a tax return. If you hand me your tax return and I'm auditing the tax return, I need to see verification of where the numbers come from.
Okay, so tell me exactly what you want. Are you asking for each individual person's salary and how much they've been paid? And how it adds up to that?
I guess so. I mean, how do we know that these numbers are correct? How do we know?
Well, to play devil's advocate, how do you know that?
Maybe it's the auditor in me that I just don't blindly accept what's been given to me.
Well, and we do have an outside auditor that comes in and looks over all of the books to make sure that everything is going as it should each year.
I mean, maybe I'm the only one that has this issue.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
We all feel that way, or we wouldn't be serving. But with this COVID and the way things are realistically and pragmatically, I think we ought to consider approving this and hopefully in the next few months start getting the information that we really desire and be able to meet more often, quite frankly. That's just my concern, my thoughts.
Okay.
That's probably a good thought.
Well, I tend to agree. I've sat on the street sales tax oversight committee for 11 years now, and this actually gives me more information number-wise than I've gotten on that committee.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure how any of the other oversight committees you know, what kind of information they receive or how it's, you know, done with those folks. But like I said, this is as much, if not more than anything I've ever gotten in the 10 to 11 years I've been on the streets committee. So,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, and that they have to do a report every 6 months as well. So yes, it's not to say we can't do a little more in the future, perhaps. But, you know, for here now, I mean, you know, if you want more information, you know, we're probably going to have to lay it out as to what you really feel you need. That way Christina can provide the information based on that. You know, but you're going to have to kind of give her a guidance on what you really want as far as a committee, because not only are we the Animal Welfare Committee now with Prop P in place, we are also an oversight committee, and that's essentially what this meeting is about. And that's why the council is wanting reports delivered to them, you know, semi-annual. So, you know, it goes beyond, our duties go beyond what they used to be. So,
and we try to take our duties as seriously as we can, so we have an idea of what's going on.
Right. Well, and
you know,
us acting in an oversight role now has changed things, whereas we didn't have to be as concerned about, you know, I mean, you know, we were concerned about dollars before, but,
right.
you know, I mean, now we actually have to review it and
right.
You know,
right.
send it on to the council with an approval or approve
right.
something to send to the council so that they can look at it and say, you know, here, you know, these folks looked at this and this is what
right.
we're dealing with. So
No.
Hey, you know, Christina, I still am confused, and I'm sorry, but you know, I personally really worked hard on Prop P, and I told people, everyone that asked, a lot of people said, I don't trust the city. I'm not going to vote for it. I don't trust them. They lie. And I said, no, half of it goes to use tax to police, and half will go to running our shelter. Well, then, once we get started, that's what I don't understand. Did you say a council member brought it up and they ended up putting a cap on it after it was passed?
No. In May,
tell me, because I'm still sort of PO'd about it. I wanted us to have more money than what we're getting. So
in May 2019, before they voted, they have to do a vote before the council to put anything on as a vote for an election. So in May, they brought this ordinance, this proposal to ballot language to the council. The council made a decision at that time. They made an amendment and they voted on it, and it passed, saying that they would cap the amount for the shelter to $750,000, but that it would be split 50-50 up until that point. That was voted on in May 2019. In August 2019, that ballot language went forward and was voted on by the citizens. So that is what went into effect. I understand that there was confusion, and I don't think anyone actually expected, of course, with the pandemic, for us to bring in so much Prop P money.
So much money, right.
And I think the estimates were that the split would continue being 50-50 probably for years, because no one thought, at least the estimates I heard initially, was that we would be lucky to bring in $1.2 million the first year.
Right.
So those were the estimates going forward. That is not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that money has gone to PD to hire their 30 officers. But that amendment was made in May 2019, and it was made before that ballot language was approved and before it went forward to be voted on.
Okay. Well, I know they put, they've sort of put they needed it for the police, and they sort of put the animals in because everyone's very adamant. Not everyone, but the people that are animal people are very adamant and want the best for their animals. So they thought that was probably a real good way to get it to pass, and I think it did. So that was why I was, I thought, well, we would, and we are getting more money, like you said, because people are buying online. Okay, that answers. I had thought possibly it had been changed a little bit after it had been voted on and passed, that we had a cap put on. I thought, well, that's not fair. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, no, I promise it wasn't. And if you want, I can make a note and I can send a link to that council meeting and the approximate time in the council meeting where they make that vote. That's not a problem, Linda. I can send it to you so you can see it.
Oh, I believe what you're telling me. I just, I was naive, I guess, but
well, there are a couple of us that are naive, because I think when I was working to help with Prop P, also passing out postcards and things like that,
right.
I was really insinuating to people that we were going to have extra money above and beyond the budget that Independence, Missouri had established for our shelter, that this is going to be additional money. And so I think that's the disappointment for me personally, is that that I didn't read. In no way did I ever think that $750,000 was going to strictly salaries.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to how you presented the items on here, and if we need to have it, I think we've already have a request that at our next meeting that we have it maybe identified a little bit stronger, how each dollar amount was accrued.
Right.
Mr. Chairman?
Right.
Yes.
This obviously shows we have no agenda except on our committee to help things with the animal shelter and move things forward. Try to watch the money. That's our only agenda. That said,
Right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Proposition P information submitted to us today and to hold a vote on this. And however, Christina, or however the Mr. Chairman you think it should be worded, my motion, I'd like to carry it forward if we could.
I agree. I think we can move for approval and to be sent and forward to the council the way it's been presented. We can have more discussion on this at our next meeting, of course. But yes, the way it sits, I think that's not a bad idea, Jack. Do I have a second on that?
I second it.
Okay. Is this something we need to do a roll call on, Christina?
That's up to you. I am more than happy to do a roll call. Tim?
Okay, well, let's do that.
Okay. Tim Watkins?
Yes.
Linda Humphreys?
Yes.
Cindy Marshall? Cindy Marshall?
Did we
Okay,
lose
we'll go
her?
on and see if she unmutes. Jack Cardwell?
Yes.
Vance Spearman?
Yes.
Cindy Marshall?
Sorry, I found the mute button somehow.
It's okay.
It'll pass without me, so it doesn't make any difference.
I can put you down as abstain. The motion passes.
All right. Now, future meetings. Let's see.
So future meetings, the mayor requested all city staff that are liaisons speak to their committees about moving forward in meetings coming up, starting in April. So we are being given the choice that If you would like to continue meeting virtually, we may. If you would like to meet in person, we may. If you would like to do a hybrid, we can, though that becomes very difficult. Now, some caveats: if you decide to meet in person, we would have to make sure that we have to meet either at the Independence Utility Center or in council chambers, and it has to be when one of those spaces is available, because the meeting will still have to be streamed until the state of emergency is no longer, essentially until the pandemic is over. We'll still need to stream the meetings virtually to allow everyone the chance to observe. If we continue doing virtual, we of course don't have to worry about booking those rooms, but we do have to worry about booking the time with City 7 to ensure that they can stream it. The mayor would like each committee to discuss and decide how they want to go moving forward, and this would need to be a group decision.
How much longer do you think this is going to be going on?
That's the million-dollar question, and I think if anyone knew that, they would be a millionaire tomorrow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's some really good things that are happening in regards to gating criteria, the hospitalizations, the cases, across, you know, the vaccination efforts, all great. However, there have been upticks and outbreaks in Detroit, in portions of Georgia, Kentucky. Italy went back into lockdown. There's issues across the globe. I cannot tell you for how long this will go on.
Have we all had both of our shots?
I have.
And I have.
I'm still waiting on my first one.
Is there ever a way that we could meet? Well, no, I was thinking even outside at the shelter, but
no, if we have any in-person meetings, must be at either the utility center or council chambers, because those are the two locations that are set up for streaming on City 7. So those are the
you
only
mean
two
they're
locations.
wanting to watch our meeting?
Yeah, they would have to continue to be recorded and streamed until the state of emergency is ended. That is a requirement. So if you decide to meet in person, we still have to record them. That's not an option.
Okay.
Is anyone opposed to us meeting in person?
No.
I'm not.
No,
No.
just
Wear a
when,
mask.
when's our next meeting? That'd be my question.
The next meeting is normally that second Wednesday in May. So I could look to see. The only issue is we would have to look at the utility center to meet, because if we wanted to meet at our normal time or close to our normal time during the day, we would have to look at the utility center, because I know that court is in session on Wednesdays at that time. So we wouldn't be able to use council chambers because court is there. So we would have to look at the utility center and see if it is available in order to do that.
Okay.
Is there another time? Is there another time that gives us more flexibility in the two meeting places? Is there a day or anything of the week or?
Fridays, I know court is no longer open on Friday. So Fridays would give more flexibility for using council chambers or the utility center. But we would have to look. I could not promise you what day or time would be available, because a lot of it still depends on City 7 and when they're available. And we have all of the other committees, which I want to say there's 40 other committees that have to meet. So we would be in competition with those committees on having time and space for City 7.
Well, how do you go about, like, if you get the utility? I mean, that's probably close to most of us because we pass it on the way out.
I would just have to look to see when the room is available and if City 7 staff are available at the same time. and then check with you guys to see if that time also meets your needs.
Okay. Tim, can we all find out with but right now if we're available? And then Christina, if she could check. We know that we're available on that date, and then she could book it for us.
I think that would be a good idea.
Mr. Chairman, I would prefer not meeting on Fridays myself.
No, I agree.
I think it's worked out pretty good for us on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Wednesdays
keep that
work
date
better
if
for
we
myself. Are Wednesdays good for the rest of you guys? I mean, they have been, but
They
is that
have
still-
been, yeah.
Wednesday's good for Vance.
It's good. Good
Okay.
for Linda.
Okay.
Fine with me.
What about you, Cindy? Wednesday still good for you?
I just trade stuff that I usually do on Wednesday with somebody else, so it's no big deal. I'll make it work.
Okay. Well, I guess you can see what you can do as far as booking that room. I know it's a large enough room we can space out if we need to, and should
Yes,
be.
I will check with city staff and see if the room is available and if we can get the staffing available that we need, and see about booking that, and then follow up with the group.
Okay, just
I think.
send us all an email like you did.
Yes. And then closer to the date, I'll send out the agenda and everything else like normal.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you
I
could go
think that
on
would
and
be
just
good.
book it for the quarterly until we know, this is our time.
I will look to see what they allow.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay.
Anything else on future meetings?
No?
Okay, well, having not heard anything, I guess we can go ahead and call this meeting and just adjourn.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
thank you all.
Thank
you.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Christina.
All of you be careful. Hopefully
Right,
we'll see each
you
other
too.
soon.
I hope so. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Jen,
Bye. Yes.
okay, I got a phone call right there at the end. What did we decide on meetings?
Well, our next scheduled meeting, if we can, will be in person at the utility center if Christina can get that booked
Okay.
for that time. So she will let us know.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right, you have
Anybody
a great
else?
day. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just wondering if anybody else had anything.
I think we're the
No.
only ones left on now.
No. Okay. Well, then you have yourself a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.